All right, family. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back and welcome in to another episode of A Different View. Welcome in us who are almost the 1,300 plus strong, right? Who view, who listen to, who are aware of. Family, it's time we start getting aware of certain things. There's some stuff we're going to talk about today. It's heartbreaking. It's bewildering, right? Big old term for I don't understand what the hell folks are doing. And we believe it to be educational, right? Where we can grow together. Again, share this with your family and your friends. You can find the podcast on A Different View in 3 different places or 2 different places. I think it's 3. So three. Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Pandora Podcast. All with the same name, A Different View. All with the same artist or creator, KJ, right? When you're looking it up. I think I'll change the graphic from here and there as far as the podcast graphic right now. It's like a spring, summer, sunset, or sunrise, depending on how you want to look at it. Sitting in a park, just so that you know what you're looking for. You know, little park bench and all that kind of thing. Man, today's a sad day, family. We're gonna tell you why. A whole lot of stuff happened over Juneteenth weekend, unfortunately, and not in the sense, nothing that had to do with any more rights for Black folks or Latinos. Or again, there were a whole lot of folks on the plantation, family. When you look, I know we say Black folks all the time. We're not saying that Black people weren't there. There were a lot of people that were brought on that workforce. So nothing for nobody, right? Just a whole lot of death, division, and destruction. The triple D's, as we talk about on this podcast, family. That's what you saw. But that is the wage. That's what you get paid with when you operate in missing it. AKA the way it's said in scripture, the wages of sin. That's what you get paid. A lot of us didn't get no time differential for working this Juneteenth weekend. They closed down the federal stores, but they didn't close down your job where you worked. I know, as soon as I say that, you got a lot of reaction to it. I know. We know. We already know. Right? So does Massa. Massa knows. Matter of fact, in many cases, he helped you put it, or she helped you put it there. We're gonna listen to a she this morning. Oh man, I must say it. Fool of a woman. Again, we're talking about operating in foolishness, tricks, lies, and deceit. That's what it means to fool someone. Family, if we don't stand up, we're willing to fall. We're gonna fall down together. That's how this works. Those who are aware of, those who seek, search, hunger and thirst for that which is a different view. Family, welcome in. Accountability. I think it's necessary. This is the word that keeps coming to my mind. So that's what we're going to talk about, right? Accountability. Like the word itself is showing you, family, there is an account you give to the abilities that one has. Okay? Again, one of the words that kind of goes along with it. Now, let's see. Where are they pulling a lot of this from here? All you do is go to your phone, computer, tablet, whatever you got that's connected to the internet. Again, we're talking about where your library, family. Let's not get it twisted. Your library is on your phone, computer. That's what they're doing. We're not saying don't go to the library. Read books, family. There's physical benefits to reading, like literally, right? So we're not discrediting that. But we're talking about where you can learn these things on the fly, especially since Massa got you on that job. And we're going to read an article from El Presidente that he said on Juneteenth. Just to let you into the mind of Massa so you understand what's going on. Many things of which we talk about on this podcast is exactly what came out that man's mouth. He ain't the only one. Let's not put all this on. That's not fair to put it all on Donald Trump, right? You got to, again, systems do not work with one person. It's a whole group of people who have bought into this that you have to be aware of that are around your family. Accountability is a state of being answerable or responsible for one's actions and their outcomes. This is just what the breakdown they give you here. When you look this up, let's go to the actual definition, though. Right? We want to. I mean, it's cool that they do that. Let's see if they're pulling from the actual definition. From Oxford's Dictionary, the fact or condition of being accountable, responsibility. Okay. So now let's look at this word, accountable. Of a person, or this is as an adjective when you say someone is accountable. Of a person, organization, or institution, required or expected to justify actions or decisions, aka responsible, explicable or understandable. Another way we say accountable is making it plain. This way people are able to understand a thing. That's how you say something that's understandable. A lot of people act like they don't understand something. Normally that's dealing with levels of ambiguity, which deals in you just kind of, let me do this real quick here while we're here. We don't want to take up too much of your time today. I know I say that a lot, but we mean this, okay? Ambiguous, open to more than one interpretation, having a double meaning. Again, we talk, this is how language is. This is how English language is. Every place on the planet is not like that. Or people's actions. Everything has to have like, oh, well, it could be this. You know, you never know, KJ, because it could be that. Unclear, inexact. Just meaning not exact, not right to the point. Again, accountability has zero to do with ambiguity or being ambiguous. Again, it's an adjective describing language. Where everything is kind of cloudy. It may have another thing here. These are the folks who deal in not standing on their square, family. That's what this is dealing with. That's what this is dealing with. Where we give some sort of excuse to ourselves to not take the required or expected stuff, if you will, to justify your actions or decisions. Right? There's none of that there. Again, they put responsible here. What's responsible? Again, the base word you know is response. Having an obligation to do something. Like we talk about with charity, family, it's the involuntary, nobody's making you do it, right? Or voluntary, the voluntary action to be good. That's what charity is dealing with, right? Or having control over or care for someone as part of one's job or role. So, we have a responsibility, family, to caring for each other on this planet, yes? Okay? Christians, right, of which we get a lot of this from, right? The household, the Abrahamic household of faith, which is split apart into a lot of different groups and byproducts and all that kind of thing. And we're not going to get into which one is right or wrong. We believe a certain thing over here. That's all we need to do, family. You make a choice. Okay? Unfortunately, there's no information by which people make choices. Because you believe in stuff that Master told you that is highly ambiguous, right? It's ambiguous. Let's get into the clip. let's get into the clip, and we will then have conversations from there. Right. Let's go.
Here's the thing. White people have been under attack for years. It's been systematic racism. As much as black people and people of color want to talk about systematic racism in the United States, it's quite the opposite. They get preferential treatment when it comes to getting a job, when it comes to getting into colleges. White people, on the other hand, have been getting attacked relentlessly. Look at 2016 and BLM and all the riots. We just had to sit back and watch people burn down our cities and do nothing about it. So the way to fight back against essentially this anti-white hatred that's been systemically, ingrained in U.S. society is with white unity. We don't see white unity on.
Hang on. Okay, but hang on. Sorry, just to be clear, this has got nothing to do with anything you just said. This is a disgusting racist woman who repeatedly spews the N-word, first at a young child, and then at the person taking the video of her, does it with complete impunity, does it numerous times. We are talking about a bona fide, unquestionable racist. So I don't understand why what you've just said to me bears any relation to white unity or anything you've just said. She's just a racist. End, isn't she? You wouldn't dispute that.
It's not about her. It's not about her. It's about
it is about her.
Coming together and supporting another white person, and it doesn't matter.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
I just want to put a pause on your family, right? So when we talk about racism, okay, again, we have to reiterate. For those hopefully those who have been paying attention on the podcast have gotten a hold of this. We just spoke about this from Dr. Claude Anderson. The video you had heard last time from Dr. Claude Anderson, right? I had failed to mention that the podcast is also on YouTube at a different view 80, right? Literally the @ symbol at a different view 80. I always do that with the @ thing because some people maybe they'll type the word @ who knows? So we just cover bases, right? At a different view 80, okay? Racism family deals in a competition, a created one in society. A social construct is how you say that's the way, the 2-word phrase they use for saying a created kind of social activity. Okay, and what it is by which people race to get the stuff, money, power or influence of any type, land, people, right? This is how this resources, because again, people are a resource. We are treating our precious resource made by the maker improperly. See, this is why I say by the time you add in belief into this, it gets worse. Because either one way belief was used to encourage this kind of mess, or it is exactly what belief is when you speak in the Abrahamic household of faith, specifically Christianity. We're not negating Judaism or Islam. I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is by the time that you read this thing in the context of the Christian, it's dealing with love, honesty, justice, defense, holiness, family. Set apartness is what holiness means, right? Again, we're not saying the other 2 of the family don't deal with this, so do not allow that defense to take place in your mind. When you introduce those kinds of things into the topic, it gets a little bit worse, right? So, just be cool when you hear the word racist, because again, it's like we've made it as like it's almost like clickbait a little bit, but in your mind, right? There's somewhat of an incomplete connotation that is put around that word. And we hide behind it a little bit instead of just looking straight at the thing. While she's talking about this, you're talking about a woman, and we're gonna look it up here in a second. This woman was okay talking down to little baby. Whether or not something was taken out of this baby's diaper, the other baby's diaper bag, or whatever it is. For you to return in kind, that kind of mess, that's in you. Whether in you or whether put in you in your mind. normally this mess is in the mind. You hear your parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, cousins saying it continuously. And as a result, that mess comes back up out you. Again, it's in your thoughts and you've been thinking on it. You haven't thought in the opposite of it, which is why you say it. This is why we should refrain from a lot of the mess that we have learned here, family. Because it's been wrong. Right? Or is it not?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
Mm-hmm. I do, quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, well, if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you? Are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts.
Okay, we just want to. So you got a little bit of the thing there, family, right? So this whole deal is around this woman named Shiloh Hendricks. Now, when you go further and you look into all of this, right? We may not do it for time's sake, because again, I don't want to keep y'all long. Give y'all some homework, right? When you look into Shiloh Hendricks, this is the woman holding her own baby in her hand. See, again, we're talking about whether it's something innate. And we understand that like hate and dislike and stuff like that. Again, we talk about our prejudger that is broken here on this podcast. That's an internal thing, okay? But a lot of this stuff is clearly, as you can see, is being taught to folks. You're teaching people how to operate in the dark side of the force, family. That's the best way of saying it, especially for us sci-fi nerds out here, right? Who are the ones that both men and women are taught that those aren't suitable suitors for you to pick as dating. See, again, like we said a long time ago in this podcast, racism, this construct, has affected everything you see in life. Again, each of the people activities in this life, let's just go over the list here real quick. Excuse me. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, aka government, because we know the word politic means to talk about things city-state, which is what government governs over, right? The people who live in the cities and states, okay? We know it's one word back then. Let's expand in our mind a little bit. Religion or belief. More so said religion for sure, because you realize that it's the organization built around what a person believes, okay? Sex. War, which we know is confusion by definition, so this is continental battle or internal continental battle, and health. Each one of those has affected, family, it's affected it. You're going to see one of them here with entertainment, which is technically wrapped around economics, also wrapped around education. That happened in Tulsa this past Juneteenth weekend. Let's go back to the clip. Hopefully it's still in the pause position. It might not be. Yeah, it is.
They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different
Sorry, just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people.
So that's where we're going to stop that, right? Again, we kind of proved the point, right? One thing that we do want to note here, because again, these are certain defenses in the mind. I don't want to say Pierce Morgan is name calling, because this is who this is, right? This is, you look up on TikTok. This is Lily Gaddis having, this is from Rebel Rundown. So shout out Rebel Rundown for posting this, right? On TikTok, Lily Gaddis has something to say. So you can just look up Lily Gaddis, whatever, and you will find, this discourse here on Pierce Morgan's show, Pierce Morgan Uncensored, right? So that y'all can have a reference point. Okay. At the end of the day, family, we don't have to do the despicable. I'm not going to attach it to the person because I know since we just had Sunday service and we know a whole lot of black people. Again, your boy hadn't needed time to rest and relax and just air out the brain, right? Because some of this stuff does become a lot. It's still the life that we live. Don't get me wrong. But you got to come away, family. This is what Christ did, so this is what we do. Okay? What does your Bible say when it comes to how we deal with people and the mess they do? In the New Testament, it tells you that you wrestle not. Touch your neighbor. One time say neighbor. You wrestle not, against flesh and blood, but you wrestle with what is in the mind of a person. All of that principalities and powers and all that you see in that verse, that's dealing with the thoughts in the mind of a person. You can't attack them back physically. It's got to be a mental thing, which is why we keep speaking. And it's why normally the holy prophets and the holy teachers and the black leaders that have been in the movement from the beginning of this horrible mess in which we've been taught, that includes them boiling Nathaniel Turner, a blessed preacher, leading his people to freedom. They boiled him down to oil, family. That's something you can look up online. And of course, we know we get strikes for this kind of thing on it. See, again, people are not okay saying a thing. We're not okay talking about the truth. We gotta boil it down to some kind of Barney-like environment. This isn't some, I love you. That's not what's going on here, family. We have to be accountable. Take account of these actions, like an accountant does with your taxes every year. Takes account of how badly Massa didn't pay you money that year and how badly you gonna pay him back. That's because, as far as economics is concerned, this system set up, however you want to say it, racism or not, is set up for you to be screwed. Family, that's the point. There's no increase for you. There's very little to none, but there's a lot of increase for them. And then we sit back, ostrich head in the sand, turtle shelling inside, right? Saying that that's got something to do with, oh, well, they got this kind of money and everything, KJ. That's what they're supposed to get. No accountability, family. Nothing for you. Nothing. Believe that. See, don't do like, I just got to work harder. Your working harder will make them more profit, not you. Now, we will say this, you got to work harder for yourself, for sure. While you giving them their little bit, like we talk about with the story of Ruth. You got to glean off the leftovers that's in the field, family, to make a way for yourself. That's life. That's how you teach your kids from the cradle. Like the movie, to the grave. Because that's what they left for you down here. This is the rulership by which this works. And they remind you, just like this, on a daily basis. On a daily basis. You're not good enough, family. That's how they look at you. But you got to ask yourself, are you good enough? See, we're not people who think anymore. We let it go. This is what we're talking about with old boy Donald Trump. On Thursday evening, the night of Juneteenth, this is on NBC. The headline reads, Trump's complaint about too many non-working holidays is part of a nasty history. Not only does Juneteenth, the article goes on to say, not only does Juneteenth deserve celebration, there are many more reasons for Americans to have many more days off. You know, it's almost as if this is by Elaine R. Olin, right? Author of Pound Foolish, Exposing the Dark Side of Personal Finance History. This is done on June 25th. Again, this is an article you can read, family, okay? Thursday evening, the night of Juneteenth, Donald Trump took to Truth Social with a classic old man yells at cloud complaint. Americans get too much time. Too much time. Wait. We coming from a time period, family. You talk to your parents and grandparents. Okay? Now, specifically like in the 80s and stuff, because it was a short period. It wasn't long. But the personal time off you had, right? This is what the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is based on. Okay? And we all joke at Chevy Chase and his rant there as his boss screws him out of his bonus, right? Because it's comical. But again, this is what we do. We use comedy. It's the same thing we talk about with my critique of Sinners. You didn't have to use vampires to talk about the antebellum South. All you got to do is just show the material. That thing will ring true because that hits at the soul chord of humans. For those who have a problem, like Lily Gaddis, they're going to show you their side. For those who don't have a problem, you're going to see a lot of people crying and angry, hurting in the movie theaters while they watch this stuff. Because this is what it is, family. This is the sickness. Kind of the same thing for Christians when they watch Christ die on the cross. Same thing. I watched it with my mother do it, Not with the Passion of Christ, but every different time you've seen it happen. Whether it was a cantata. Cantata was just a big old word for a play in a church. Just to boil it down. Around Easter, around Christmas, all that kind of thing, right? The kids get up there and do their whole thing. Sometimes the adults would have a thing. Americans get too much. I guess the Christians would be involved in this too, by the way. We'll leave that alone. We'll leave it alone because Christians have been good puppets for massa. Americans get too much time off at work. Too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars. Wait. Don't put the supposed top of the group here in with the rest of the country. See, this is what we're talking about, this ambiguous kind of language. It's a double talk. No. Our country, right? No different than we the people is talking about those who benefit from your work, family. But you tired out there. That's why you're asking for time off. This is no different than when we started this podcast off talking about Labor Day. All these things repeat themselves, family. And yet you still need people to stand on the watchtower telling you how badly you're being screwed. This is part of the game. And I consider myself one of those. That's just how this works, family. Billions of dollars. Do you know where that billions of dollars won't be going? That's not going to go to your pocket. That's not going to go to your pocket. If they take away some of these holidays, then you know they're going to come back in news articles down the road and whatever year they take away these other too many holidays, you're going to hear about which CEOs got more of an increase while you didn't. Or while they got an increase and you got like a 1% increase. That kind of thing. Again, 300% for them. These are different articles that you can find. And just look at what you got that year with it. 1% for you, maybe. Right? This is the game. This is what was created on top of these lands. That the Mexican clearly has to go back to their border was shrunken by the U.S. government. Because they wanted to take land from them. Because they're lazy. They didn't want to share with people. They wanted to negotiate and do diplomacy and all the stuff they talk about today with the people groups already here. They just wanted to bulldoze them out of the way. No different than they do today. It's costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. Family, the only businesses that close on these federal holidays are federal governments. What you talking about? The rest of them are open. Juneteenth, everybody else was open. It's just you couldn't go to the bank. Or whatever is federally a federal owned, public sector businesses. The private ones were open. All your retail stores were still open, selling Juneteenth merchandise. Making money for family. We playing a dangerous game here. I'm just saying what it is. And it's a costly one too. You want to talk about costing billions of dollars? It's costing the people. That's what it's costing. It's costing us money because we're not getting no pay. We ain't getting no pay. Was there a time differential for working Juneteenth weekend? I bet you it wasn't. And if it was in small places, family. Come on. They're playing a game here. It must change, he goes on to say, if we are going to make America great again. Again, the time when America was great was when people groups were living on these lands that are discredited. The recognized tribes of many groups. By the discover, this is another article I just saw a couple days ago, which we will share with y'all in a little bit. Speaking again about the California Indians. Dark skin tone folks, family. Dark chocolate brown's what they called them. Close to mahogany. You ever looked at the color mahogany? That's what your black brother and sister look like. No, you need less time, family. While in New York, this is an article you can look up online. We ain't going to do it just for time. In New York, you got a black man, 58-year-old black man hanging from a tree. They don't know how he got there. They don't, you know, it just so happens. When's the last time you ever found black people hanging themselves from trees, family? They themselves went up, climbed up, got that good rope. They know the knot to be able to make sure that as the air is driven out of the body, as the oxygen is driven out of your body, man. They know how to make that kind of knot. They doing that? Negroes is doing that now? Albany, New York. Shocker, it's Albany, New York. See, family, what we talk, I must make this statement because I had a whole thing to say online about a thing. We're just using this as an illustrative point, right? Again, we're not going to shout out nobody. This is an illustrative point. Again, I have a problem, family, with our community not being able to deal with the multicultural families in our community. When I speak on that, I'm not only which one is definitely the white, whether we're talking black man, white woman, or white woman, black man. Sorry. White man, black woman. Excuse me. So again, white woman, black man, black woman, white man. This also includes our Latin brothers and sisters. Let's not get this twisted. It's less with these groups, but it's there. Okay, Asians, same flip flop, right? And all the other people groups. We have a problem for some odd reason, family. Again, we talked to you about Moana 2. The end of Moana 2, how powerful that is, because that's what it is, family. It's about the people groups coming together. You got to ask yourself your question, how, and this is the way it used to be said back in the day by Big Mama and them. How did the high yellow person get in your family? Do you hate on them too? And we know some do. Is this where this is? See, we ain't going to go nowhere, family, until we understand this is a team sport. And this is where we're going to stop here to play this video real quick. Let me put this one on the table. This is the back end, right, of this video here from Dr. Claude Anderson. That I didn't say what it was. It's on YouTube. You can find it. It's just clips of Dr. Claude Anderson talking, right? This was done June 20th, 2024. Vicky Dillard TV, and it's just clips of him talking. Team sport, family. This is where we got to get to. Again, if they ain't hurting you, then they ain't hurting you. In the mental, we all got to wash our mind of some mess. All of us, that includes me. But we on the path. See, I'm okay learning this. As much as it's hurtful and harmful to see, family, it's time for us to see it. Because we've been living under delusion too long. Which is why they're okay not paying you. It's why Donald Trump could come out and say some garbage like this out of his mouth about why we have too many holidays off. You don't have enough. Tell the truth, family. You don't have enough days off. You know how to do these ones for honoring this country, quote unquote. Not the people who helped build it, just the country. Same way Abraham Lincoln looked at it when he freed the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation. It was to save the Union. Didn't give a damn about the black, brown, and dark, brown, tan, skin tone folks down here. They didn't give a damn about that. But they never do. This is how greed looks like. I don't think we understand family truly, and this is all of us really. We are learning what these different entities look like here in this life. And it's sick to watch. Again, family, we talking team sport.
What you gonna do for black folk? But the two things that are hurting us, we don't have any resources. The second thing you don't have is they stole your social cohesiveness. You either play as a team or you lose by default. That's why you all can't get ahead. You all play as individuals. And you listen to these black activists on the streets saying we're not a monolithic people. He's wrong. Wealth and power follows the numbers. You haven't got a lot of blacks with you, pooling your money, pooling your votes, pooling your interests, pooling your labor. Then other people will pick you clean and cherry pick you. You as black folk are not guests in America. You are not guests on this earth. You walk on sacred ground paid for by the blood, sweat, and tears and suffering and sacrificing of millions of black people. You are special people. Nobody's been mistreated, maltreated like you are. Black folk were the economic engines that drove the development of this nation. Well, you're the first original people on earth. You're the first people in this country. You're the only people denied the right to own property, denied to have the fruits of your labor. The only person denied the right to have an education, denied the right to be married and have children, or to be able to have weapons, tools, and lands and animals. Well, you're the only people that's fought in every war this country's ever been in. Everybody else in this country, I don't care what their racial, ethnic extraction is.
Man, God help me while I'm listening to this man talk. We are the only ones, family. You look through history. See, don't give a damn what Donald Trump and all the people who choose to talk like him will talk to you. You go look at the source. It's the same thing that the pastor will say about whether it be white, Latino, Asian, or black, tell you, or any people group, any whatever pastor come from or preacher come from any people group, go back to the Bible because that's the source. What St. Paul told people was to study. Go study. Don't just listen to what I'm saying. Go study. And my people perish because of the lack of knowledge and because they reject it. This is what the Bible tells you. Every war, family. Revolutionary, civil, world wars, cold wars. When you speak on the world wars, they were literally shooting at us. We talked about that with the Battle of Bamber Bridge. Vietnam. Again, we told you where the DAP came from, family, because again, they were shooting at us over there. They use it as an occasion to kill us. Just keep it 100. We're not doing this. Oh, it's just a one-off. No. We ain't doing that. You use it as an event. Again, if the military member is so about the holiness of defense and these lands, then you would stand against that crap. That's how you do it. Every time, without question. We're either one people or we are not. And clearly someone has sown some mess in where we're like different people. No. We are the one people or we're not. And on top of that, even if there were two people groups and all this other kind of stuff, at the end of the day, there is a baseline by which we operate. And if we cannot do it together, then we have to do it separately to dress and keep this planet, family. And again, as we've said on this podcast, you do it by dressing and keeping the people. If this group got to live over here in peace, well-funded, well-kept, that would be the same way. Again, we're talking fairness. The maker deals with the thing fairly. People do not. And that's where we miss it every time. You ain't got a question about what's going on with wars and act of Congress and all this kind of stuff. You know, in talking about my disheartenment at how our people operate with ourselves of the different cultures of the planet, these multicultural, multiracial, we'll use words as what people use, these multiracial groups. The response to me was that the fact of where people live, like that's different. And ain't no different whether a person lives in Texas, Georgia, the Carolinas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Oregon, California, New York, Florida, Maine. It don't matter. Alaska, damn it, it don't matter where. This is the kind of excuses, again, ambiguous in thought, where we have to let go, family, if we are going to succeed as people down here. Whether we commingle or we don't. But we can keep, again, we got to wash our minds in order to be able to do that. I'm not discrediting that part of it, okay? But at the end of the day, this kind of mess, these are improper behavior tactics that we all have to recognize, especially if we want to succeed. Let's continue.
They have fought this country. This country owe you. They owe you. And that's what I want you to start demanding from them. But I love you all, and please forgive me for having such love for black folk. So I thank you and I love you.
And we'll stop there, and that's the end of the video, family. We got to understand this is teamwork. This is teamwork. You know what wasn't teamwork? We gonna Lord, forgive me for laughing, family. Forgive me for laughing. Oh Lord, but it helped me through it. You know what wasn't teamwork, family? Again, my wife and I had the opportunity to join in Tulsa's Juneteenth celebration on Saturday the 21st. Right? It was from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, this is a shout out to another podcast I listen to that I encourage people to go listen to, and y'all gonna take it for what it is. But again, we give credit to where credit is due here. Real Consciousness, Real Black Consciousness Forum podcast. Okay, and in that podcast, Brother VJ, right, Big VJ, as his title is, goes to remind me again and remind us of the fact that some of the most dangerous places, family, on this planet, especially dealing with your people, once that sun go down, are the gas stations, the convenience stores in every inner city across this planet. Now, I like to expand upon it and say even in some suburb areas, because this is where we're seeing a lot of this mess. This one particularly was in, again, big city, which shows that resonated and resounded so much in my spirit that while I'm with me and my wife, shout out to you, honey, for going with me, right? For encouraging me to go, because I didn't even want to go. And given on the back end of it, I can see why now. There's a lot of teaching from my mother and my father, my family, letting me know the mess, the poison and rust, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, lives in our... See, you don't have no Christians talking nothing for black folks. And you can hide behind your religious turtle shell as much as you want to. But Christ did. He spoke right to Samaritans, Samaritan people. Huh? We got nothing to say, though. It's all this holiness, high and by, waiting on glory to come. No, you got a responsibility down here. We have accountability down here. I don't need this to be popular. I want it to be impactful. Channel 6 News. 6 to 11 o'clock now, family. You watch this. The headline reads, this is, again, newson6.com. Again, the article you look up when you search it in your phone, computer, whatever. 1 dead, 7 hurt in shooting 1 or 300 don't matter. It's human life, family. Let's read it again. 1 dead, 7 hurt in shooting during Tulsa's Juneteenth festival. Tulsa. Now, where do you think it happened, family? Maybe it was just some base ass street somewhere in Tulsa, right? We all know the history of it. We done read it. We talk about it all the time. We point back to Black Wall Street all the time, right? Again, the tagline under the main headline: police confirm 1 person was killed, 7 others were injured in shooting during Tulsa's Juneteenth festival, right? Where do you think? It goes on to read, A night of celebration turned into and it was celebration. People were sitting there. You had folks from colleges. They're dancing. Everybody's dancing. You got different vendors who had food there. You had different vendors who were selling product there. A chance to pay back into your community, whether by buying food or whatever it is. Black chefs there. We're talking black excellence, family, right? This is what the black community talks about so much. And it's the truth. Don't get me wrong. But again, we're talking about the poison and rust that lies underneath the surface. Turned into tragedy during Tulsa's Juneteenth festival as gunfire erupted in the Greenwood district. Not some willy-nilly street, family. On the grounds where massa and agents of evil stole, plundered, and took from us. On Greenwood District, leaving one person dead, 7 others wounded. Goes on to talk about what we know about the shooting. Tulsa police confirmed that 8 people were shot during the festival. 1 died, and of course 7 others were taken to local hospitals. Some of these places out in these rural areas, family, like the hospital ain't 5 minutes. You know, big city folk, you know, we know them hospitals is like, you know, it's right close by. You got to drive a distance. And you think about when you got gunshot wounds, God forbid that thing hurt you somewhere. You could die driving to the hospital. But we ain't paying attention, family. We don't give a damn. Police said a 22-year-old man was struck and killed under the overpass on Greenwood. I walked under that thing, family. It's got spray painting on it and all that kind of stuff. You know, mural graffiti, you know, and people will talk down on that and all that kind of thing, you know. Different topic, different day. Art in any one of its forms is always discouraged. Let's just keep it 100. It doesn't matter if it's on the side of a building or not. We've got enough space on enough buildings. But again, we'll leave it alone, right? Police say 7 people ranging from 17 years old to an elderly woman were shot and taken to hospitals. Police said a 24-year-old man was badly hurt. The police believe there were 2 shooters and said they have interviewed several people, but they were either unwilling. Where does this no snitch thing come from, family? I got a question for the black folks, man. See, again, we're talking about the improper behavior here. Clearly, we've already seen the 60 or 70% of households. It's too much, right? Single parent households, okay? The other side of this is anytime something happening, we don't speak up. It's sad and it hurts to say it, but while Lily Gaddis is sitting here talking this trash, this is what we're talking about, family. It's time to stand together. While you got people here who's literally talking this trash, it's time to stand up, y'all. Be counted for and stand together as people group, as friends. As family. You can have varying views and looks, and that thing look differently. We're family, y'all. When do we buy into this? Two shooters, unwilling. Folks were unwilling to tell the police. What's that? What's that? Get these fools off the street, family, so that folks can have a festival, a holy one at that, where we honor those who died needlessly to pave the way for us to live whole lives instead of shooting each other under underpasses and all types of trash. The elderly, you shot the elderly, but we ain't got no respect for the elderly. So that's a whole other conversation. Unable to provide information about what happened. So either they didn't see it or they didn't want to say. How many different times have we seen this happen in the inner cities, family? Too much. This no snitch code is trash, family. You better tell. Your parents raised you there's a difference. We just going around. We talking about on this real family. Okay. Don't get the two twisted. I'm going to leave it alone there. We ain't even going to talk about Shiloh Hendricks and these fools. We ain't even talking about none of that, right? Again, family, we got to look out for each other. That thing was a party, family. A party. By 11 o'clock is when all this mess started. That's what you look at when you look at different articles here. So they also posted it on Facebook, so you can see it on June 21st at 11 p.m. Officers working. Again, this is Tulsa Police Department. You can look it right on Facebook. Officers working at busy Juneteenth festival heard shots ring out. 11 p.m. Now, the thing ended at 11 p.m. This is when you wait for that mess. Do you know when me and my wife booked it? Right about 8 to 9 p.m. as the sun is going down. Of course, we know, right? We talk about this with this foolhardy mess, which is, what you call it? Fast forwarding time, daylight savings time, that trash, right? What are we doing, y'all? The sun is up. It's lighter out. You don't have to turn the clock up. It's already out. It's already light. God already did the work. You ain't got to do nothing else. We'll leave it alone. Folks will eventually catch on. All right? We're just messing with things we shouldn't mess with. And one of them is doing this type of stupidity at places where we're supposed to be celebrating our freedom. Celebrating our freedom. This time it was in Chicago. I don't know if whatever happened maybe in Detroit or some of these inner cities. Of course, we know LA is in shambles right now because of the government, but that's normal. We're just saying what it is. Whether it was the LA riots in the 90s or now, it don't matter. When it comes to the dark skin tone folks, you got the raw end of the deal. And you have to band together. This ain't no time to be mean mugging each other, multiracial couples and all. This ain't the time for that crap. This is the time to stand together, family. This is the time to stand together. Stand together, support each other's businesses, put each other on, family. Massa has no problem. We talk about this with wrestling with, like, Dominic Mysterio or AEW with Hook there for a period of time. The parents have no problem putting their kids on, man. No problem at all. We talk about it with Braun Breaker. Everybody love Braun Breaker in wrestling right now, right? Barking around. Yeah, we know. Him sitting there tweaking and twitching with his shirt off and all this kind of weird stuff. You go look at clips of it. Right? That's the son of Rick Steiner family. People have no problem putting their family on, but for some odd reason over here, we just like, you're going to have to get it up to that. And we ain't got no help for you. The prodigal son's father was okay bringing him back. He was already out there and wasted the family in inheritance. Brought him back. Never mind. When we get it, family, like we have been saying, when we get it, that thing gonna look so beautiful. But family, until we get it, we ain't got it yet. Right? So that's what I got for y'all today, family. Again, let's look out for each other. Let's start using accountability where it comes with the abilities we have been given, that we truly do give an account for, right? Thank you, family, for walking this road with me. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.